I'd like to call this meeting, regular board meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District Board of Education to order at 7 o'clock. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded. Please silence or turn off your cell phones. And if Lammersville Elementary could come forward to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, Lammersville. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, President Pombo, Board Trustees, Dr. Nicholas. Thank you for having us this evening. At the end of last school year, I met with our team of teachers and our staff to figure out what we wanted to do moving forward, what things we felt were successful for the school year, and what changes we wanted to make to continue to prepare our students. And so one of the things that came out of that conversation was implementing an additional elective course, an enrichment course. At the time, we had two elective Project Lead the Way courses, and we really wanted to make sure that although our staff was small, that we are giving our students as many opportunities as possible to make sure that we were preparing them to go into the various pathways that are offered at Mountain House High School. And so with that, we had some creative brainstorming, and Miss Ariel Starks, our fifth grade teacher, has now joined our elective rotation as a teacher while her fifth grade students receive Project Lead the Way instruction with Mr. Caballero, which allowed us to add another offering to our 6th through 8th grade students so that by the time they leave us, they will have taken all three of our Project Lead the Way courses in addition to other enrichment courses. And so with that, we have some excited students to talk with you about their journey so far this year. And so with me this evening, I have Addison Perry, Eli McGann, Isaiah Holman, and Travis Mariero. Come on.
Good evening, President Pombo. Good evening, President Pombo, Board Trustees, and Dr. Nicholas. Thank you for having us here this evening. Today we'll be talking about a new enrichment course at Lammersville Elementary called Design and Modeling.
Design and modeling preference. In the design and modeling unit, students discover the design process and development and understanding of influence of creativity and innovation in their lives. They are then challenged and empowered to use and apply what they've learned throughout the unit to design a therapeutic toy for a child with cerebral palsy. More will be shown on the next slide.
For our first challenge, we created foot orthosis for students with CP. We used basic materials such as duct tape, craft foam, cardboard, and other materials. We also learned multiple types of sketching, which include thumbnail, isometric, and multi-view. Dissect, document, and modify is a process we use to create blueprints to modify puzzles to better accommodate children with CP.
Creating puzzle cubes. Our class experimented to make pieces to make a 3x3 puzzle cube using 27 cubes total, with 2 pieces being 6 cubes and the other 3 pieces being 3 cubes. No pieces can be the same. And with that, we started off using connecting cubes and then moved on to using wood cubes. And then lastly, we 3D printed cubes, or 3D printed our pieces to make a cube. And this is the wood one.
The Sketchup software is something we use to design models, such as a teacup, And then after designing them in the Sketchup software, we can 3D print them with the MakerBot 3D. Here's a sample video of this.
For the 3D printed cubes, we use the MakerBot to 3D print teacups and our cubes. And here's a sample video of how the teacup was made.
It works in the dark.
That's too bad.
If the video would work, you would see how the teacup was being made, and you would see how the plate under the teacup was made. And then what we're doing next is we're creating our own toy that would help a child with CP, and we'll create sketches, design it on SketchUp, and then create a model of the toy using materials in the classroom like we did with the foot orthosis. Any questions?
Questions or comments by the board?
Impressive.
Impressive. I wish we could have seen I've never actually seen a 3D printer in action, so I'm disappointed that it didn't work, but great job, guys.
It's like middle school ages are a lot more interesting now than when we went to school.
I was also impressed that you didn't get nervous when the video didn't work. You just
Kept going.
rolled on. Very nice.
Very cool.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Matthew Balzerini.
Here.
Colin Clements.
Here.
Ann Goodrich. Here. Sharon Lappel.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Roxar Mohammed. Here.
Item 3, annual reorganization of governing board officers. Are there any nominations for board president?
I would like to nominate Trustee Balzerini for president.
Second?
Second.
Further nominations for president? All right. Nominations for board clerk?
Nominate Sharon Lampel for clerk.
Second? Further nominations for board clerk? All right.
Who
Nominations,
seconded?
I did.
Oh, okay. David did.
Yeah, we should do that, I suppose. All in favor of Trustee Balzerini for president? Aye.
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 Opposed? All in favor of, motion carries, Trustee Balzerini is the new president. All in favor of Trustee Lampel for board clerk?
Aye.
Opposed? Trustee Lampel will remain as board clerk. I guess we can switch seats at this point, or shall we continue through to the,
I think we should finish the nominations and just vote on a new slate. Just my suggestion.
nominations for representative to the county committee for district representation?
I nominate Trustee or President Pombo for that.
I'll second. Okay.
Do we need one or two?
It's not working, so you could.
Are there any further nominations? All in favor of trustee Pombo for county committee district representation?
Aye.
Opposed? I am the new, or I guess I'm continuing as representative to the county committee. Consider approval of appointing Dr. Kirk Nicholas to secretary of the board.
No.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now we will reorganize our chairs. Pardon?
Just going too fast.
Well, no, it's not on here because we're voting on, I don't see a voting on here, do you?
We voted?
Mine is not working.
Yeah.
My voting's not coming up. You knew you were gonna have to get out of your seat again. Thank you. You want me, oh, you already did. Okay.
Because I'm like,
Got it, thank you. Oh, because I clicked on the future meetings. That's why. Up, up, up. A little bit higher, there.
What's your names?
We should. Oh, you mean just the nameplates?
Distress.
You have to read the item and then you do it.
Where's the script?
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations, President Balzerini.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations to you for not.
And thank you for 2 years, trustee Pombo.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Yes.
We hope this gave everyone enough time to get through the construction out there.
what is it on governing board reports? It should be there. Yeah. It's wherever you left them.
The blue pen.
Housing committee reports.
No, it's not there. It would have a one. It would have a one on the private notes.
Oh.
Under- It didn't say that. Yeah. Do you have it emailed to yourself?
Mm-mm.
No. I don't see it anywhere.
Might it be there?
If you put it on a different meeting.
No.
Okay.
It was- Spend an hour writing those notes, and they're gone. Okay, I'm gonna leave the meeting and go in that way. Wait, I'm gonna just check this. See if it came, if it's in there.
Okay. Approval and/or corrections of the agenda?
Or none. Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, recognitions. Dr. Nicholas?
Yeah, I'd like to invite Heather Sherburne, who's going to acknowledge a very special achieving student at the high school. After that, it'll be followed by Principal Faubert, and then after that, followed by Associate Soup, Mr. Harrison.
Good evening, trustees, President Balzerini, Superintendent Nicholas. It is my pleasure to be here tonight in the tradition of honoring all our students that have received the honor or earned the honor of a perfect score on a test. The last 2 meetings we have celebrated those students with CASP perfect scores. Tonight we have a student who is being recognized for a perfect score on her ACT test, which is quite a remarkable achievement. So with that, I would like to invite up Sri Subramanian. We have a certificate from the San Joaquin County Office of Education and a certificate from our school district, so congratulations. I'll have you stand right up here.
Good evening, board members, superintendent. Tonight we're here to honor a couple of groups of people, and I'll call up a couple of people. First, I want to call up Athena Duran and Lavinia Woods to come up front. As our school gets larger, we've started to kind of assign out some duties, and Athena has taken over the duties of athletics with our athletic director, Lavinia Woods, and they have done a great job this year of leading out and getting things organized on campus. And the first group we're going to invite up today, I believe, is our tennis assistant coach, Elvin Lowe. If we can also have all of the girls tennis members come up front here and stand next to the board members, and Mr. Lowe is going to say a little bit about the tennis team.
Yep, so good evening, everyone, board members, superintendent. So it's my honor to present the varsity girls tennis team. We had a fantastic year this year. We were undefeated throughout the whole regular season. So that was 14 matches. We made it to the sectional semifinals in the team event. And in the individual event, Elise made it to the semifinals. And the doubles event, Sanvi and Sana. Yep, they went all the way, came out as runners-up, and they went on to represent the conference in the CIF SJS tournament. Well done. So, a lot of firsts this year. We're really proud of them. This is only the beginning. I think a lot of them are coming back. A lot of them are freshmen and sophomores, so well done, girls. Yep, that's all I have to say.
All right, we're going to get a picture. Go ahead and come on in and stand. Ladies, would you just slide up in the front? We'll do 3 rows, because if not, the screen's too wide. Come on here, don't be shy. And you can go stand back here.
Next, we'd like to welcome up Mitch Crosley and the girls golf team.
You just saw what the tennis girls did. So we should all be real proud of these girls. We have 3 special seniors in the front, and they really were the glue to hold this thing together. We had a tough year, it was competitive. In golf, it's a little different because when you go and play away, you're playing somebody else's course, and you probably not seen it before, and it's not, it's not easy. The home team has a real advantage. So we lost some matches, and at one point we said, well, either we win or we're done. And these girls, I was just real proud of them. And the thing is that, looked like we weren't going to win. And I walked up, and Lavinia was standing at the board, and she was totaling up the totals, and I just, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe my eyes because they came through in the clutch. And one special player who was MVP in our league, Saria Chillicurry, she carried us in every match and set some personal records. And so in a time when they really needed to come through, these girls really came through. And another thing I'm really proud of is all these girls are above a 3.5 GPA. And I know some of the parents are here. I'd like the parents to stand up. If you're a parent. We got more. They have to drive us out to the golf course. It's 15 miles one way, so it's, but anyway, it was a great year, and we have about 12 members on the team, and we have a freshman that has really helped us this year and came through, and just everything kind of just came together. So anyway, thanks.
So I get the pleasure of bringing up our varsity football coaching staff led by head coach Jason McCloskey.
All right, well, yep, come on up, guys. We don't have a lot of guys out there. They're over at the Tracy basketball game supporting the boys, most of them, so good to see a few made it. 10-2 on the year, share of the WAC championship, 6-1 in league. Extremely proud of our team and how far we've come in just a short time. 4th year of varsity, it's really unprecedented when you look at the surrounding schools that have opened up in the last 20 years and you look at their records. There hasn't been a single school in the area that's posted a 10-win season, so it's kind of rare. These guys really fought hard for each other. They put in a lot of hard, long hours for us and did everything the coaches asked of them. The credit all goes to them. They're the ones that performed on the field. Got to host and win our first playoff game, which was great. And we're going to miss our seniors greatly. They were there when we were 0-10. They were there when we were 1-9. They were there when we were 4-6. And they were there when we were 10-2. And that's what hard work does for you guys. So I'd really like to give them the credit. I'd also like to thank my coaching staff. We're small in numbers, but we're big in heart, and we put a lot of time and effort into what we're trying to do. So I really appreciate you guys very much. So thank you. Sam, you gotta take a knee, Sam. You're too tall.
It's my honor tonight to introduce everyone to our Spelling Bee winners. We had 4 places in our school competition for Spelling Bee, and we actually had a student place at the county level. So when I call your name up, Spelling Bee students, come on up. In the 7th through 9th grade division, in 4th place, we had Lizzie Sue, an 8th grader at Wickland. In 3rd place in the 7th through 9th division, we had Taylor Love, 7th grader at Bethany. In 2nd place in the 7th through 9th division, we had Edric Bayliot, an 8th grader at Wickland. Good job. And then in 1st place, we had Jordan Pereira, a 7th grader at Altamont. He spelled green gauge correctly. And then in the 4th through 6th grade division, in 4th place was Ritvik Raghuvanshi. Did I say it? Was that good? Okay, sorry. The 6th grader at Cuesta. And in 3rd place, we had Ananya Reddy Manyan, a 5th grader at Hanson. And in 2nd place, we had Shanmuk Mika, a 6th grader at Cuesta. And last but certainly not least, in 1st place, both in Lammersville Spelling Bee and in the county, was Roheen Prashant, a 6th grader at Wickland. He spelled crescendo for the win. Those are our Spelling Bee winners.
You guys are gonna slide on in over there. Slide back on in there. Don't be shy. Just walk on in there. Walk towards the big guy.
Yeah. Let's start over. We took too long. Did I shoot you?
All right.
First they would come out. It's like the ketchup bottles.
Did everyone go? Okay, moving on. Item 6, committee reports. District Advisory Committee. I actually think I had a report here. For DAC, our last meeting was on November 13th. We reviewed the goals that are tied to the state's priorities. It was actually the same presentation that the board received a couple of weeks earlier. Did I miss anything, Cole?
I was just going to point out that we went over the metrics, which was the same one, and they're also provided in the last 2 pages of the current board packet.
Very good, thank you. District English Language Advisory Committee. Trustee Lampel.
So I've had a computer glitch, so I don't have my dates. We did have a DLAC meeting recently, and unfortunately, we only had a few parents there. So I would encourage the public that is involved in DLAC to join those meetings. And I have my computer glitch, so I don't have the next meeting.
Is it on
Irene, when is the next meeting? She's looking it up. Thank you.
January 24th, okay. Education Extracurricular Committee.
We met on November 27th, and the parents and staff looked over the new social studies curriculum that's going to be piloted here in the district. There is a Nat Geo, and that's only for grades 6 through 8. It has a strong online component. Also, McGraw-Hill has a program called Impact, and that is for K-8. And then Pearson has a program, and it's called My World, and that's for K-6. So those are the 3 different programs that will be piloted here in the district. The parents were able to look through all the materials and see what was in each of the different offerings, and they'll be piloted by 2 different teachers at each school, and that's the report.
Thank you. Facilities Committee.
We haven't had a meeting since our last board meeting, and our next regularly scheduled meeting is December 20th at 6:30 here in the boardroom.
Policy Committee. We updated the policies, and they've now been submitted. They're on tonight's agenda. Safety Committee, we met on November 14th. We debriefed our presentations that we had from the active shooter, different organizations. Mr. Harrison has evaluations that were submitted by the committee that we're currently reviewing, and then we ran a tabletop scenario. Anything else I should add? Did I miss anything? No. Okay. Thank you. And Wellness Committee.
We met, the Wellness Committee met earlier today, and we discussed the ongoing the wellness practices being implemented at our K-8 sites. We also had a presentation from Food Services Director Hill on the new nutrition tool that will be available on the district website. It's pretty neat. You can click on any menu item and it will tell you the nutritional values and calories and carbs and all that fun stuff. So if people are building a menu, they can do it right there on the website. We also went over the district wellness plan, looking for items that need to be updated.
Okay, thank you. Governing board reports. Student trustee.
So in the past month, all the students at Mountain House High School have been getting prepared for finals, which are coming soon. So there hasn't been too many big events. Last week, though, we had our winter rally where the theme was Maximus Hits the Road. So each class had a different city that they took part in. And all the students did participate in the dress-up days, and the winter rally was also very successful that Friday. And the Saturday after was the annual Night to Remember dance, which also had a really good turnout. Last Thursday and Friday was the Mountain House High School dance production as well, which was Lights, Camera, Action. And as I'm in dance class this year, I got to perform multiple times as well. And it was a great experience for all of us and the other students to perform in the new theater.
Thank you very much. Trustee Goodrich.
I haven't been too busy. I was able to attend the Education Committee meeting on the 27th of November, and also the CSBA conference that was on the 30th and 1st of November and 1st of December up in San Francisco. Saw some amazing presentations, really educational and beneficial, and also spent some good time with my fellow trustees. So that's about it.
Thank you. Trustee Clements?
I also attended the CSBA conference with all of my colleagues. I learned out the breakout sessions, and this year I decided to focus on learning more about special education and the ways that other districts are addressing the challenges in this area, as well as understand what districts are doing to ensure equity in education, not just as it relates to special education, but also for race, gender, socioeconomic status, etc. Mr. President, I've decided to focus my learning in the coming year on gaining a better understanding of special education and how this district addresses the unique challenges of these students. I appreciate the willingness of district staff to work with me and Mr. Saylor in particular to gain a better understanding. I mean, I know I'm never going to be an expert at this, and we have plenty of board resources, but I just feel like I need to be conversant, and I don't feel that I am. So I'm going to focus on learning that. As discussed in the committee reports, I also attended the District Advisory Committee meeting. And even though I no longer have a child playing football, I did attend the football banquet and congratulated the players on a great season. They're kind of still all my boys and girls, because there was a girl there 4 years ago, our kicker. Finally, if you'll forgive a shameless pitch, I'm looking forward to attending the Grunch at Quest Elementary on December 15th at 7 p.m. and the Glass Slipper at Lammersville Elementary on December 19th at 6:30. End of report.
Thank you. And if I see any opportunities for CSBA in regards to special ed, I'll send them your way.
I did ask Superintendent Nicholas if they see training specifically on special ed. I would really like to know about that.
Very good. Will do.
Go to work with Trustee Goodrich.
Got lots of meetings you can attend.
Trustee Pombo?
I attended the Mountain House Mustangs playoff game in Ripon, where they unfortunately lost, but they should hold their heads high. They had a heck of a season and really played their hearts out. I also attended the Mountain House High School Drama Department production of Clue. Wow, it was impressive. The set design was impressive. The costumes were impressive. The acting was impressive. Everything was great. I also attended the CSBA conference in San Francisco with my counterparts and attended some very interesting sessions, and I will be reporting more on that at a later date. I attended the Christmas parade in Tracy, where the Mountain House High School Marching Band performed. Long parade, lots of bands. Our band did really well. I went to the Hanson Elementary winter concert. Got some talented singers and musicians at that school, just like all the rest. I went to the Altamont Elementary Winter Festival and tried my hand at outbidding Trustee Lampel and wasn't too successful, but that's all right. I attended the Mountain House High School dance team production, Lights, Camera, Action. Very entertaining. Got some talented dancers at the high school, and that concludes my report.
Trustee Lampel?
Okay, like my colleagues, I attended the CSBA conference. I went to some very interesting sessions on managing labor relations, addressing achievement gaps, school safety, teacher shortage, and critical issues facing education. I also did my monthly report to the CSD. There will not be a monthly report in December to the CSD because their meeting is tonight, and I'm here. And I let them know that I would not be. I also attended the Altamont Winter Festival, and Trustee Pombo let me spend a lot of money. Thank you so much.
Quite welcome.
The dancers that they bring in, and this year they had games for the kids outside. It was a wonderful evening. Everyone had so much fun, and the kids that were selling snacks, and they handled it beautifully. There were no adults helping them, and they had it down to a science. Let's see, Altamont Winter Festival. Before the Thanksgiving break, I went over to Cuesta, where the foundation showed the Race to Nowhere movie. And I was very curious as to what it was about. Unfortunately, I found the movie outdated and had a lot of misinformation. But there were some very good points in the movie that, as educators, we need to be aware of stress in our students, recognizing the signs of stress, and how to address that stress. And I'm glad to say Lammersville is ahead of the game on that, where we have already hired one non-academic counselor. I don't remember what her title is. The regular counselor, like helping kids deal with stress management and stuff like that. So we are on top of it and watching for those signs of stress in our students. I also saw Clue at Mountain House High School. Wow. It was amazing that the kids built the sets and they had their timing in that play down to a science. You have to remind yourself these are high school students. They were awesome. They were professional. It was very impressive. And I also plan on going to see the Glass Slipper next week. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I also went to the CSBA conference, went down a couple days early for the board of directors and delegate assembly meetings, and actually had the opportunity to present on school safety. So it was a good day for me. I visited Wickland on November 14th, spent the day with Principal Gonzalez. I think we hit just about every classroom. And then today I was at Bethany with Principal Wingo, and we hit the classrooms. I'm just so impressed with the use of technology and the small group learning. To me, it makes perfect sense. I'm glad that we're doing it, and I think that our test scores are showing it. And lastly, just for the board, I wanted to mention, I just learned of this new assembly bill that's working its way through, Assembly Bill 8, where they want to require every school district employ a mental health professional for each 600 students. And the question is, of course, are they going to fund it? So.
And the answer is, of course, no.
Yes.
And furthermore, where are they going to find them, since Kaiser can't even find enough to work for them?
That's why I'm asking my fellow board members to please watch this bill, and we may need to make a few phone calls. So, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Mr. President, it just seems like Sacramento, they get to pass this stuff and they don't have any idea how that stuff is going to how to make it happen, how to make it operational.
Well, it hasn't passed, so
I know, but they
some of
get
this
to
is
consider stuff like this.
Some of this is just flexing.
Is this Assembly Bill 8, you said?
I believe it's 8. Yeah, it was. There was an article in. I will find the article and I'll forward it to all of you.
Thank you very much.
And I just wanted to comment that I think a lot of our representatives in Sacramento have their heads in, shall we say, the clouds.
Yes. Yes.
Not that that's a bad idea, but it's a bad idea to mandate it and not fund it.
Exactly.
That's
100%.
That's my comment. It's not that it isn't a laudable goal,
Right.
but to say you must do this, and there aren't enough professionals, and they don't give us enough money.
Well, then the other question is it middle school and high school or all grade levels? I mean, do we need a mental health professional for 600 elementary school age students? I don't know. That seems like a big ask.
Sadly,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Item 8, receiving a public comment. The board shall give members of the public an opportunity to address the board either before or during the board's consideration of each agenda item. At a time so designated on the agenda, members of the public may also bring before the board matters that are not listed on the agenda of a regular meeting. The board may refer such a matter to the superintendent or designee to take under advisement, but shall not take action at that time. The board may place a matter on a future agenda for discussion or action. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. I do have a speaker card from Stephanie Olson.
evening, President Balzerini, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. I'm happy to be here tonight. I figured I'd speak since my son was going to be here for football already. In my capacity as president of the Mountain House Athletic Boosters Club, I wanted to first personally invite all of you to our 4th annual crab feed, which is on February 16th. And I wanted to get that invitation out now, personally, just because you know that we really would love to have all of you, Thor too, because I know you're big into sports. Because we have a special going on for tickets before January 1st. They're $10 cheaper, so get your tickets now so you don't have to pay extra. The reason I wanted to speak to you is that we are very excited. I just wanted to share that we're able to do a lot for the athletes. We have raised a lot of money. We gave volleyball $12,000, and they used it to buy equipment. I'm not sure exactly what the equipment did. It was poles or something that was very needed. It allows them to host tournaments. And they just did have a tournament with all the K through 8 schools last Friday. And I was there selling concessions with the volleyball coach, and it was well attended, and it looked really fun. And I thought that was a really cute idea. We've given football quite a bit of money. We gave them recently about $4,000 for an end zone camera. That it's really sturdy. The wind won't take it out, and they can get good shots and film for their team. But they also we bought Huddle for the football team, and the program we bought is also able to be used for all the sports, so they can get the athletes out there. And we've given baseball $1,500 for training gear, and we've paid for a lot of tournaments for basketball, and we have a lot of money still, and we just want coaches to come to us. And so we're waiting on some of these individual sports like water polo, tennis. Girls tennis, they did so well. We're like, please ask us for something. We want to support you. You deserve it. Right now we have roughly $45,000 in our account, and we'll probably make $15,000 to $20,000 off of our crab feed. So we have some funds that we can use to help out, and that's our job. We work closely with administration to make sure we're not stepping on their toes or vision for the school, but we just want to support our athletes. And one idea that we're talking about at our next meeting, which is on December 20th at the Learning Commons at 7, which I would love for you to come to if you're, I know you guys love meetings. So, but we're going to be kind of playing around with the idea of doing peer tutoring for our student athletes, because it's very heartbreaking for me, even though I only have one athlete at the school, and I'm not really a teacher or anything, but it still breaks my heart when I see an athlete has to stop playing their sport because they didn't make grades. We'd love it to be math teachers, and we'd love to pay the district and have them pay the teacher. So we'd love to figure out ways that we can do that. And then finally, I'd love to see an athletics committee.
Stephanie, what was the date of the crab feed?
February 16th.
Thank you.
And thank you for stepping up and doing that. We wouldn't have sports without the boosters, so it's much appreciated. Thank you.
And I would say reach out to the swim coach, because I know she was looking for some equipment.
Mr. President, if I may, this is not a response to, I learned something at part of equity that I focused on at the CSBA conference, because I didn't really know that I understood what equity meant. It's not necessarily equal. And so I knew what it didn't mean, but I wasn't really sure what it did mean. And we actually talked about the Athletics Boosters program, and the attorney that was running the breakout session mentioned that it's important for the district to make sure that all sports, like the coaches of every single sport, is being informed of the boosters' availability, because if they don't know, they don't ask, and if they don't ask, then they don't get. And so anyway, that was just a comment.
Let's have a further conversation offline on that and see what we can do to make sure that we're addressing that issue. Thank you. Consent items for consideration. We have A, which is the governing board minutes from the regular meeting on November 7th. Item B, governing board special meeting minute from November 27th. Item C, ratification of contracts under $25,000. Item D, approval of budget revisions and warrants. Item E, ratification of the 2018-19 new hires. And item F, acceptance of donations. And item G, updated 2018-19 fundraisers. Oh, there's more. Item H, approval of the 2017-18 annual developer fee report. Item I, ratification of school-sponsored overnight trips. We can pull any of those for voting separately, or we can vote as one. And is there any discussion?
I'll move for approval of the consent items as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, district administrative reports. I'm sorry. Yes, new hires. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm having a rough night. Which one is it?
Our HR expert
Yeah.
will introduce our new hires.
Got it. There it goes. Okay, so we would like to welcome the following new employees to our Lammersville family. Padmasini Donna Scody, an instructional aide. Tabitha Roderick, an instructional aide. And Janae Taylor, an instructional aide. So welcome to those three new people.
Thank you, Trustee Palumbo. Superintendent's report.
Just very briefly, I have a picture to share with the board and the community from today's adventures out in the south side of Mountain House. Those two pictures are of the same two buildings being built. Those are the first two models being built in neighborhoods A and B. And there are pads to the, if you look at the picture on the right, you can kind of see the pads, more to come quickly. So we will, for sure, have 3 neighborhoods being built simultaneously. And that is my report, Mr. President.
You're losing sleep over that.
Wow.
I'm laughing.
District enrollment report.
Proud to announce that we have 5,410 students.
District maintenance and operations report, Mr. LeGrand.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Happy holidays, everyone. The maintenance operations staff has been focused on work orders the last couple of weeks. The maintenance department has. The operations staff's been focusing on the maker spaces. We had some construction to do at Cuesta and Altamont and Bethany. The flooring started going in yesterday at Cuesta on the makerspace. We're still working on it today. They should have wrapped it up. Then we'll slide over to Wickland, and then we'll hit Altamont, and hopefully sometime next week we'll hit Bethany. If it rolls into the holiday break, everything will be done by the time the kids come back after winter break. So that's a good thing from my point of view. The field restoration started at the baseball field at the high school. You may have seen the equipment out on the fields. All the infield's been torn out. The skirts on the side, the mound's going to be redone, batter's boxes, and we're going out about 30 feet into the outfield. So all that's been stripped. There's a lot of material we've already hauled out, and we have to bring in fresh material. It started last Wednesday. It's supposed to take about 2 weeks, depending on the weather. So it should be done sometime next week. And the field will be ready for use at the end of January, when baseball season gets fired up. So I'll be at the facilities committee next Thursday, and looking forward to having a couple of days off over winter break. And that's pretty much my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I visited Bethany today and saw their flooring that they had done. It looks real nice.
Oh, you were there? Oh, great. You like it?
Yeah, it looks good.
Good. Awesome.
Any questions or comments from the board? Thanks for the report.
Thank you.
Oh, one question. Was there any follow-up on the water leak at Altamont that we treated is there any, I don't expect you to know that right now. So I guess
I can answer that,
or is it
and then you can fill in on the technical side. So they put on a surface that would keep any leaking from happening. We have a letter from Turner that's committed for the 15-year life cycle of that material, that if there is a problem, that they will come back out and investigate the source of the water. Okay. But the material that they used is guaranteed to keep anything from seeping in.
Great.
I was in there yesterday. There was no issues, so there haven't been any so far. So.
Thank you.
Moving on, action items. Item A, consider approval of 2018-19 intra-district transfer requests. Any staff report?
No.
Move to approve 2018-2019 inter and intra-district transfer requests.
Second.
According to this, you got it. First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 18-1907 to allow assignment of teacher credentialed outside of major or minor under the license of certified personnel law for the 2018-19 school year. Staff report?
So we're in the process of adjusting to some oversight and expectations coming from the state as it transitions oversight on credentialing into CalPADS. And we've identified the teachers here in this resolution that would be outside of their major and or minor based on their current, what is the word I want? Authorization and what their status is in class.
Questions or comments?
Move to approve Governing Board Resolution 18-19-07 to allow assignment of teachers credentialed outside of major or minor under the licensing of certified personnel law for the 2018-2019 school year.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Roll call.
Matthew Balzerini.
Aye.
Colin Clements.
Aye.
Ann Goodrich.
Aye.
Sharon Lampel.
Aye.
David Pombo.
Aye.
We will now consider approval to adopt an ordinance number 18-1901 entitled Ordinance of the Governing Board of the Lammersville Joint Unified School District levying special tax within Improvement Area Number 1 of the Lammersville Joint Unified School District Community Facilities District Number 2014-1 Mountain House School Facilities, including certain annexation territory, and waive its full reading.
So now I read. On November 7, this governing board held public hearings and an election for annexation of territory to Improvement Area Number 1 of the district's Community Facilities District Number 2014-1. At that time, we introduced an ordinance levying special taxes in Improvement Area Number 1. The final step in the annexation process is to consider and adopt the ordinance. I will now entertain a motion and a second to adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Governing Board of the Lammersville Joint Unified School District levying special tax within Improvement Area Number 1 of the Lammersville Joint Unified School District, Community Facilities District Number 2014-1, including certain annexation territory, and waive its full reading.
So moved. Not reading it again.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And do we need a roll call? Yes. Roll call. Aye.
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 That was easy. Item D, consider approval of the first interim financial report for 2018-19 school year. Staff report.
Yeah, so this first interim keeps the district in positive certification, which for the community members that don't know how this works, you have to be fiscally solvent for the existing year and the 2 out years. I want to thank Alvina and her team for their hard work in putting this together.
Move to approve the first interim financial report for the 2018-2019 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Alvina.
Thank you, Alvina.
Item E, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 18-1911, confirming appointments of the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee members. Staff report.
Yes, we have. It's been around so long, we had to have a new election, and Alvina took over that responsibility, and so she'll share a little bit about how we came with to the membership.
Yes, I have prepared, or had Ms. Salins prepare a list of all of the applicants that applied for the vacancies that we had. We had 3. We had 11 people submit an application. So in the italicized section, superintendent or designee will select the committee taking into account the applicant's professional and or practical experience, the applicant's recognition in or contribution to his or community, the diversity of experience on the committee as a whole, and representation on the committee from various communities within the district. So after further review, the recommendation that we made are in bold, and they are we actually are going to recommend a 4th. There was kind of a tie of just doing 3 or adding a 4th person. So we added finance, nursing, 10 years of living in Mountain House with software engineer background, and the other was being both a PTSA president at Mountain House High School, as well as obviously as a parent, with some various, you can see on the backside beneath the Daniel, various.
How did we advertise?
So it was done by, gosh, it went over to 5,000 notifications through EduLink, and we had it also on the website. Yes, and Facebook, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Move to approve Governing Board Resolution 1819-11, confirming appointment of Citizens Bond Oversight Committee members.
I have a question before we move on from there. Do
Can
we ever?
hold on, can we get a second first, and then we'll.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Do we ever send it out on our like auto dialers and stuff to let parents know?
That is what the EduLink was, and I believe it was also put in newsletters as well that went out to the parents.
Thank you.
It was quite a turnout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never seen this many applications for that. Thank you.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And we need a roll call.
Matthew Balzerini.
Aye.
Colin Clements.
Aye.
Ann Goodrich.
Aye.
Sharon Lampel.
Aye.
David Pombo.
Aye.
Where are we at? F? Yep. Thank you. Item F, consider approval of replacement contract with non-public agency, Central Valley Autism Project, with an increase of $5,224.06 to contract not to exceed $53,115.66. Staff report?
Yeah, so we had an NPA that was providing a service. They stopped providing that service. We had to pick up another NPA that would provide that same service, and it was $5,200 additional cost.
Questions or comments from the board?
This, the $5,200 extra, that's on the entire contract and was part of the contract fulfilled by the original.
No, so whatever this $53,000, it was $5,000 less than the original contract, and so in order to fulfill the needs of this IEP or whatever the students' needs were, the new company was more expensive.
But had the original company started the service and then stopped, or they never started?
My understanding is the company started the service and then they stopped.
So this is for the remainder of that service.
So instead of costing us approximately $47,000 and some change, it's going to cost us $53,000 in total.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll move for approval of the replacement contract with a non-public agency, Central Valley Autism Project, with an increase of $5,224.06. Total contract not to exceed $53,115.66.
Second.
First and a second, and my apologies, I have not been asking for a student board member preferential vote. Would you like to make one? Yeah. There we go. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yes, that is a new law, and I forgot.
Move to go back to the beginning. No, I'm just
Okay. Item G, consider approval of amendment to facilities lease agreement and site lease for Julius Cordis Elementary School and professional development contract with Roblin Contracting, Inc., $47,431,906. Staff report?
I'm really excited about this number. It sounds like a lot of money, but it is a lot of money. But there was a lot of effort put into making that number much smaller than what it was originally. I want to thank the team from Roblin, Bob Chomey, Adam Villacara, and Todd Tillman, along with a member of our team from NMR, Wes King, our architect. We are able to build the Professional Development Center and Julius Cordis essentially for what we thought was going to cost just to simply build Cordis. We put a lot of pressure on them to come up with very smart ideas, value engineering and such. So I'm very proud to be able to recommend this vote on this contract for this amount.
Move to approve amendment to facilities lease agreement and site lease for Julius Cordis Elementary School and professional development contract with Roblin Contracting, Inc., $47,431,906.
Second.
First and a second, student board member. Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H, consider approval, sorry, it doesn't say it on here, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
it doesn't say which item it is. Oh, it doesn't, just on the side, but I'd have to scroll up to keep up, I guess. I guess I can do that, okay. Item H, consider approval of code-required third-party inspections for Julius Cordis Elementary School and Professional Development Center contract with Wallace and Kuhn and Associates. Staff report?
Yeah, this is our recommendation for the third-party inspectors, Wallace Kuhl. We and Associates, we have a long and positive relationship with them.
Move to approve code required third-party inspections for Julius Cordis Elementary School and Professional Development Center contract with Wallace Cool Associates.
Second.
Student board member preferential vote? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And just so you know, you have to say it on the microphone so we get on the record, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you. Item I, consider approval of Division of State Architect required inspection for Julius Cordis Elementary School and Professional Development Center contract with Don Williams Inspection, $308,880.
We're required to have a representative of the state regulatory oversight, and Mr. Williams as our recommended choice.
I'll move for approval of Division of State Architect required inspections for Julius Cordis Elementary School and Professional Development Center contract with Don Williams Inspections for $308,880.
Second.
Student preferential vote?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Information discussion items. Item A, information, first reading of updated board policies and administrative regulations. Any staff report?
This is just our formal process, so this is the first opportunity for the board to do a reading of these. They'll come back in the next session for formal approval, and we'll take questions now and/or questions if they come up along the way.
So I had a question/comment. During the committee process, I submitted a question, or I guess a statement. I wanted a form to be created with the drone policy. I want to see a process in place along with the policy. It talks about everything that we have to do and that we have to tell the person that wants to submit an application to fly a drone. What's our process going to be? It's not included in this packet. Because there are a lot of drone flyers in this area.
Good evening, Board President Balzerini, trustees, superintendent. Yes, so we've discussed this, Associate Superintendent and myself discussed that. We will be putting together a form that individuals will have to fill out so we can review that. There will be a time frame associated to that. Approximately 10 days is what we're thinking to give us time to review, make sure that it's in compliance with what we need to be in compliance with, and then it would go forward for formal approval.
So if that will come to the board eventually?
That will be part of the, we'll make sure that's part of the packet when it comes forward.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Item B, infographic for local control funding formula. Oh, good stuff.
We're going to have Associate Superintendent Harrison come up and present the latest and greatest version of our infographic, which we can now say is infographics.
Good evening, Board President Balzerini, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about our next iteration in our infographics for our school district. Before I do that, I want to remind everybody about the LCAP 8 state priorities. You've seen this slide a number of times, but it's always good to readdress the 8 state priorities so we know what our focus is. So the first state priority is basic priority conditions of learning, state standards, which are also a part of the conditions of learning, parental involvement, which involves engagement, pupil achievement, which is obviously pupil outcomes, pupil engagement, which is a part of the engagement piece, school climate, which is a part of the engagement piece, and then course access, which is a part of the conditions of learning, and then other pupil outcomes, which falls under the aegis of pupil outcomes. You'll recall that I presented a couple of times the infographic that is currently on our website. This is a snapshot of our school district showing some data, showing some demographics that represent our K-8 and our 9-12 program. Moving forward, we've created another infographic for our LCAP goals. We have infographics for Goal 1, Goal 2, and Goal 3. Goal 1 is a pretty large goal when it comes to our LCAP plan. So Goal 1 encompasses a full page of information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through how to look at this document. At the top, you'll notice it has Goal 1, systematic closure of the opportunity gaps. And then to the right of that, it has the state priorities that we're addressing when it comes to Goal 1. And that's State Priority 2 and State Priority 4. Moving to the left, you'll notice where it says Pupil Achievement. It says, and there's a 4 next to it. That's because it's addressing item 4. So the first item is 58% of students that take AP at the high school pass with a 3 or higher on the AP test. You'll note the little nut-shaped graphic there. 33% of the students at the high school take an AP class. And then the demographics to the right of the 58, the demographics are listed there. You can see Black population, African American, has a 56% pass rate, Hispanic 48%, SED 27%, and SPED with a 100% pass rate of AP tests. And that is a 3 or higher on the AP test. Moving to the right, you'll note that we have the percent of students at the high school that are ready and conditionally ready as it's indicated by the EAP, which is the Early Assessment Program, which is an assessment that's given to students through the CASP. It's certain CASP questions that are given in both math and English, and they're pulled out of the assessment, and if students score well enough, it shows that they are conditionally ready for UC and CSU program. You'll note that we have 80% are conditionally ready for ELA, and 43% are ready in math. And then we have the demographic breakdown to the left of the blue box as well. Moving down and to the left.
What are the 2 numbers?
I'm sorry, say again?
So there's 2 numbers.
ELA and math.
ELA and math.
Oh, I got it.
The left side's ELA and the right side is math.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going down to the left to the first green box. You'll note there the green box is a percent of students completing 15-year-long courses with a C or better that apply to A to G readiness through the UC system. So 48.7% of students at the high school have completed or are on track to complete the A to G requirements. And then to the right of that graphic, you'll note that we have the focus group breakdown. Moving to the right, the next green box, you'll note that we have 63% of the 9-12 students have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and that is a culminating GPA at the end of the second semester. And then we have a breakdown by focus group to the left of that box. Moving down to the left, we have 25% of the 912 students receive at least one D or F. And then we have the ethnic or the focus group breakdown to the right of that box. Moving to the right, you'll notice that we have MAP scores. This is a local indicator that we use. And that's not a typo. We double checked it like 3 times. Every time I look at it, I think, is that right? 75% were proficient in math and ELA district-wide for the spring of 2017-18. And then we have the focus group breakdown to the left of the red box. Moving down into the left, the mustard-colored box, 73% of our K-3 students are on track when it comes to the DRA, the Diagnostic Reading Assessment. And then you'll note to the right of the mustard-colored box is the focus group breakdown. And then moving to the right is the CASP scores for both ELA and math, the ELA score being 69 and the math score being 60. And when you move to the left of the mustard-colored box, you have the focus group breakdown when it comes to CASP scores for ELA and math. Moving on to the right, where it says state standards, this is focus area 2. And in this section, we're talking about the implementation of academic content and standards for pupils and for EL students specifically. So for professional learning, we put down there that we had 427 incidents or contacts of one-to-one coaching, 28 teachers in the Blended Learning Academy at the time of this infographic creation, and 2,396 teachers have learned with the Kite online learning system. Moving down, we have LPAC assessment results. 515 students took the LPAC assessment. 79% of those students scored well-developed or moderately developed, which are the top 2 scores for the LPAC assessment. And then moving down in the bottom right-hand corner where it says curriculum, this is a local indicator. It's a 1 to 5 scale of how we have implemented the individual content for English language arts, English language development curriculum, mathematics, next generation science standards, and social science. Now, if you look at the top right corner, it says November of 2018, but I want to remind everybody that this is data from 17-18. Okay, so this is the culminating data set for 17-18 and the data that we're looking at for Goal 1, systematic closure of the opportunity gaps. Moving on to Goal 2 and 3. So you'll note sorry, I have to turn my page. Goal 2, instruction and curriculum efficacy. And that addresses state priorities 1, 3, and 6. So 1 is basic. In other words, we have 100% of our students have standard aligned curriculum. We have 100% facilities in good repair. And then in the middle there, that's 0 teachers that are misassigned for 17-18. Now, let me talk about that real quick. At this moment right now, we have 2 teachers that are misassigned in our school district. But remember, this is 17-18 information. We believe that those teachers will have a placement by the end of the school year that will be qualified, they will be qualified for by their credentials. So we will remedy the 2 that we have currently in our school district.
So those 2 were not part of the item that we took action on tonight?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Next 3, parent involvement. On the left-hand side, you'll note that it says 2016-17, we had 296 parent volunteers. And in 2017-18, we had 213 parent volunteers. Now, these are not parent volunteers that come to the school site and put their license in and get approved by Raptor to go in and volunteer in their child's class for the day. These are volunteers that came to HR and put an application in to be full-fledged volunteers at the school site. Okay, so that's what this count is. And then moving to the right, we put down there sample questions from our survey that we give to parents every other year. 73% of parents think LUSD schools prepare students academically for success in life. That survey was asked of parents of 5th, 7th, and 9th grade students. The next one down, 77% of parents believe LUSD schools communicate effectively and timely, once again for grades 5, 7, and 9. Moving down further.
Can I stop you real quick? So the parent volunteers,
Yes.
they have to re-register every year, or once they're in the system, they're good?
You know what? I'm not sure.
Are those 213 new, or are they part of the 297?
That's the total count that have active volunteer status in the school district. So I don't know if it's every year. Ted, do they do it every year?
Okay, sorry.
I'm sorry.
So these are new volunteers that come to us paperwork-wise. So yes, it's yes and yes. It does carry over, but the 296 would be the total amount for that particular school year that was received new. And then the 213 is the new number for the 17-18 school year.
okay.
So it's in addition to.
Okay, thank
So
you.
they have to fill out an application every year?
No.
No, they do not. No,
Those are 213
So
new.
the 213 for 17-18 would be new volunteers for that particular school year. The 296 from the year before may be in the system already.
We don't know how many of those may have left, though.
Correct.
Okay, so we can't just assume and add them. Right, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, item 6, school climate. On school climate, you'll note that the chart that is in mustard, the left side of the chart is the total number of suspensions by year. 2014-15, we had 47, or 1.2% of our population, and 0 expulsions, which is on the right side. In 2015-16, we had 133 suspensions, or 3% of our population. And 1 expulsion. In 2016-17, we had 187 suspensions for a 3.7% suspension rate and 4 expulsions. You'll note below there's a subtext there for a subgroup suspension rates for 2016-17. The Black African American population had 9.9% suspension rate, Hispanic had 4.5%, EL 1%, socioeconomically disadvantaged was at 4.7%, special education was at 6.8%. Now, when we're looking at disproportionality, Black or African American students represented 6.7% of the total enrolled population and 17.4% of the total suspensions for the 16-17 school year. So I want to explain something real quick. You'll note that on the top line it says Black African American 9.9%. That is a raw number. When you look at the 14 or 17.4%, that's all suspensions. So one individual may have 15 events, which is why it becomes 17.4%. The 9.9% is each individual. So I may be an individual that has 5 instances, but I'm only counted in our percentage, the 9.9%, once. When you look at total and overall, it becomes 17.4% of the total suspensions, which is why we denoted that there in the disproportionality section. Okay? All right. And then moving to the right, goal 3, 21st century outcomes of stakeholder communication. We had a 96% attendance rate for 17-18. Our Black African American was 96%, Hispanic 95, EL 95, socioeconomically disadvantaged at 94, and our special education population was at 96%.
Nice numbers.
Moving to the right, our chronic absenteeism rate. Black or African American was at 6.7%, Hispanic at 9.4, EL at 6.5, SED at 16.4, and SPED at 16.4. The overall was 8.5%. The chronic absenteeism rate is missing 10% or more of the school year, which is approximately 18 days, 18 and a half days. Moving to the right, we had a 98% graduation rate. For Black African American, it was 100%. For Hispanic, it was 92.3%. Our EL students were 100%. SED at 95.2%, and special ed, we had a 100% graduation rate. And then you can see our dropout rate there is 0.5%. Moving down to course access, This is in relation to students who have access to core curriculum and delivery of curriculum. So we put in here the Canvas analytics. In grades 6 through 12, there were 34,783 assignments posted on Canvas as of November of this year. And there were 2,810 discussion topics and 15,625 files uploaded. By those numbers, you can see we're fully implemented in use of our technology. For advanced placement enrollment, we had 33% of our students enrolled in an AP class. 27% of all males and 33% of all females had at least one AP class. And then you can see the breakdown by focus group to the right. For early college participation, we had 9 sophomores. 9% of our sophomores are in the early college program. 6% of our juniors and 7% of our seniors are in the early college program. And then lastly, under other pupil outcomes, for the ACT, the high school, the Mountain House High School, for ELA, we had an average of 25.4. California had 22.5. And then math, we were at 23.8. The state of California was at 22.5. And then total, 24.4 versus California at 22.7. For SHE, we did just as well. For English reading and writing, the high school did 572 versus California doing 540. In math, the high school did 563 versus 536 for California. In total, an average score of 1135 at the high school, and California had 1076 as an average score. As is the case with our first infographic, these infographics will have, when somebody goes online, once we've finished the process of laying eyes on these documents and getting input, each of the boxes, the mustard color, the red color, the green color, the blue, when somebody comes to our website, hovers over it, there will be an explanation of what that means in a paragraph form, so that people can really get more information of what each one means. So as they hover over any of these items, there will be a more explanation of what they are and what they mean. And those are our 2 infographics for LCAP Goal 1, 2, and 3.
So the infographics are very impressive, but what really knocks my socks off is the achievement levels of our students. Our teachers are doing an amazing job.
These are really good results.
With the support of the families. This is great information.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the detailed explanation.
How do you say that? Senga. Senga app, LUSD communications tool.
We're going to ask Sean and Heather, Assistant Superintendent Sherburne.
So good evening again. We are very excited that, as you saw, we have really good parent engagement and we want to have really strong parent communication. So we launched our new website earlier this year. Like anything with technology, there's rarely anything that doesn't have a few glitches in it as you're rolling something new out. And another part of this product is the Senga product, which they call a parent engagement tool, but we are utilizing that for parent communication at its core. So we are planning to do a launch with parents to go out this Friday, and Sean's going to share a little bit more about all of that. We are, fingers crossed, not going to see glitches, but like anything with technology, there may be just a few little hiccups in it that we will undoubtedly work out and everything. But in the end, this tool has a lot of amazing features that are going to really enable us to stay in really good conversation and communications with our parents at the teacher level, at the school site level, and at the district level. So I'll let him share the launch.
All right. Good evening, President Balzerini, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. So, as Heather explained, we changed our web presence this summer. We switched over to Edlio. I'm sure you guys have all seen the website, but as part of that change, we also added this new parent engagement tool called Senga. Currently, the system that we're using only allows us to contact parents using phone or email. Senga has these capabilities and much more. Okay, so with Senga, Senga has an app that allows communication that's two-way rather than just one-way. So what that means is teachers can reach out to parents directly through the app, and parents can respond in the app. It's really great having this capability for parents on their mobile device. With everybody's busy lives these days, it's really difficult to try and to make schedules mesh. So there's actually two applications. There's one for admins and teachers. That's the one you see displayed there. That's actually from my phone. And then there's a teacher app. So the admin app will allow, the admin app, yeah, right. But the admin app allows you to, like, we can log in and see calendars, and the parent app will allow you the communication with the teacher and push notifications from the school. So like I was saying, yeah. See, even the tech guy has tech problems. You feel better, right? I broke it. You want some support?
Tech support.
Does she have to put in a ticket?
So while she reloads that, I'll just talk about it a little bit. One of the things that I'm really excited about with this app is the ability to send push notifications. There's events that happen where we're unable to notify staff. Like, it'd be great for the IT team to be able to notify staff when there's a network outage, because when the network goes down, you can't, inside of our buildings, you have no Wi-Fi, so typical forms of communication don't work. But push notifications can come through your cellular device. We've struggled with that in the past, and it'll be really nice to be able to do that. In addition, which you'll see soon with my awesome slides, will be Signup Forms is another thing that it does. So parent-teacher conferences, teacher can simply post their available times. Parents can go on and sign up for times that they're available for, rather than just setting up blocks of time for everybody to come in. Eventually, there's also the ability to receive payments through the app. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll back up a little bit. So these are the notification types I was talking about. There's phone, email, and push notifications. Another great thing about this is that the parent is in control. If they don't want to receive push notifications, they just simply don't turn it on. However, we highly recommend that they do, just so that they get the most pertinent information as it's available. So coming soon. So we're rolling out the calendar functionality immediately. We're rolling out the notification functionality immediately. But then we're going to slowly release the other features that Senga has available, so that we can be more methodical and make sure that everything's set before it's rolled out to parents. One of those features is parent and teacher messaging, as I was speaking about earlier. It allows the parents to communicate directly with their teacher of their student, So no more trying to call and catch people or send an email, find the email, whatever the case may be. Also, sign-up forms, like I was talking about, we have the ability to digitize field trip, thank you, field trip permission request forms. Parents can consent right on their phone. They can get reminded immediately, so no more lost slips. With the payments feature, they'll also have the ability, if there's any fee associated, to be able to pay for that ahead of time and get a notification right on their phone when that needs to happen. And payments. That's what I just talked about. So starting Friday, parents will receive an email from all of the school sites informing them about the launch of the app. And then at the end of the day on Friday, they'll receive an email from Senga itself with a link to where they can sign up for the app and download it to their Android or iOS device. So I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Tell us about the calendar.
So the calendar, the calendar is great, I think, because going to the website to look up events all the time can be rather difficult. Now it'll be right on your phone. You have the ability to actually add that calendar to your phone calendar, so you don't have to go to the app and your calendar. It's actually all in your calendar, and that's totally up to you how you want it. You can see the admin app will actually have the ability to see all of the district events plus one school site. And again, all of those events are published on the website itself. So the parents have multiple options to look up our events.
And who will be responsible for loading the information into the calendar? Because sometimes that seems to be an issue.
Yeah, our office, actually the process now, our old website, every time the sites built their site calendar in Outlook, and then they had to go reduplicate the data inside of the calendar on our website. But now all of the calendars are tied to a Google Calendar, so they only have to enter that data one time, and it syncs with the calendar on side of Edlio and inside of Senga.
So I have a question, but I don't know if you're the person to answer it.
Try me.
The parents giving permission, this has been run through legal, and it's okay? I mean, it's the same as securing a hard signature for a field trip from the parent? Just double check with legal. Makes me nervous, because a kid can get their parent's phone and click yes.
Yes.
I mean, they can also forge their parent's signature, but...
Yes. It's true.
They can also get their parents' phone and buy things online.
Yes.
Yes. And all of these things happen.
Is that the voice of experience, Mr. Pombo?
I'll plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
This is great.
Thank you for the presentation.
Yeah,
So you
thank you.
said that admin, and I'm guessing that we'll be able to have some access, they'll have the district access and one school?
So at one time, if you had all of the schools listed, it would be pointless to look at the app. It would just be a blur of events.
Calendar.
But
yeah, yes.
So all of them can come into the
You
calendar.
can see, yes, you can see all of the, you can get to all of them, but you can only view district events in one school at a time. But there's a drop down to select which
Okay,
school you want.
beautiful, thank you.
That was my question. I was afraid. Yeah, I'll have the calendar, but there'll be so much stuff on it I can't actually read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why there's only one at a time.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the new calendar on Edlio, so you can have everything all at once because it's a much bigger screen than your phone.
How did you get to that, Noel?
I went to the main district website and clicked on calendar,
Oh, on the side, okay.
and then you can either look at all of them or deselect which ones you want.
Oh, and of course, they're color coordinated intentionally, so I think you can follow it by color as well.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And the schools are putting stuff in there themselves, so that's great.
Very good, thank you. Calendar, speaking of calendar. Item A, Tuesday, December 18th is the next Citizen Bond Oversight Committee at Bethany Library, 5:45 PM. Item B, Thursday, December 20th, Facility Committee meeting at 6 PM. Item C,
I think that's a typo in the facilities. It
well, it was
should
just
be,
yesterday, right? Or,
it should be 6:30.
oh, 6:30.
I think the date is right, the time is.
Okay.
Yeah.
6:30. District facilities will be closed Monday, December 24th through Friday, January 4th for winter break. School resumes for students on January 7th, and our next governing board meeting is at 7 PM on January 16th. We're soon going to be adjourning to closed session where we're going to talk about item A, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint. Item B, conference with real property negotiators for 397 East Ramsey Drive, Mountain House. Agency negotiator Superintendent Nicholas. Negotiating parties, Mountain House developer, Camilos, Trimark, Shea Homes. Under negotiations is the price, terms, payment, or both. Item C, D, and E are all three pupil personnel issues.
I'll move for adjournment to closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and my screen locks, so I can't vote on mine.
Oh.
So we are now adjourned to closed session. Thank you.